Everybody, this is a quick video to show people how to do an oil change on a CBR 1000RR, probably from a 2017 all the way up to 2025. I know the electronics have changed, but not much has changed when servicing them. I think the panels are the same. Those are the tools you'll need: 12mm socket or spanner and Allen wrench, two different sizes. I don't have the sizes on them. An oil drain pan, and then obviously your oil and your squash drain plug washer and your oil filter. Okay, we're going to start by removing these 5 bolts. On this side, that is. I keep all the sides bolts on this side, and it's the same with the other side. This is the only side where you need the bigger Allen wrench. And now we'll move over to the other side. Same side, almost forgot one bolt here. It's on the belly fairing. There's a Allen bolt there that also has to be removed. Once that's removed, we'll move to the other side and take off the belly. Okay, so we're on this side. We're going to remove this whole belly fairing. It should be pretty loose once you have all the bolts out. You can see it actually just half and half slides off here. I think the other side's getting a bit stuck. Let me go check that side. But with a gentle persuasion, you can get it out. Well, that's what I thought. There we go. Let's come off. I just got to drop this down. Go. I'm going to just take it out that side. That's good. And there we go. The whole belly's off. I'm going to give it a good cleaning and wash, but that'll do off camera. We're just going to start the bike, let it warm up. I think the manual says between 3 and 5 minutes. I normally let it idle for like 4 minutes, and then remove the drain bolt. So let's give it a start up, shall we? I don't know why I've got a strange habit, but I like lifting my bike straight up when I start it. let it warm up nicely up to about between 90 and 89 degrees. 85 and 90 is perfect. But yeah, let's proceed to remove the oil drain bolt. Okay, we're just going to remove this drain bolt here. I had to get a bigger tool than the T-handle. They torque these things quite hectically. Okay. A little bit hot, but I think we can survive. Just remember to remove that washer as well. I think my washer just fell. The manual recommends warming up the bike. I know guys do it cold, but I just do it the way the manual says. Must be reasons why they say what they say. But yeah, I'm just going to let this drain for a while before we remove the oil filter. We'll remove the oil filter shortly. This oil filter can be on very tight. A lot of guys tighten this thing, over tighten these oil filters. I normally tighten it by hand. So getting mine loose, I couldn't even get it loose with my hands. I had to revert to an oil puller of some sort to remove this. It works simply with a socket. You just turn it just to loosen it, and then from there, yeah, we'll just take it off. It's not too tight anymore. They really elbow tight this thing, and you're fine. What I normally do is I don't take it off all the way. I let it drain out like this, and then once it's stops draining there like that, if you do open it, what I found is completely quickly, sometimes it splashes on the exhaust and you have that nasty smell when you start the bike. So I let it drain like this and then I unscrew it. Little tips and tricks: you can loosen your oil filler cap, take your dipstick out to the point where it's just resting. It helps the oil get out a little bit faster. I don't really know if it actually does that, but yeah, I've done it over the years. And then I'm just going to let this sit and drip for a little while until most of the oil's out. It's my thing with an oil change, is to get most of the old oil out. And then what I will do in the meantime is prep the new filter, pull all that stuff closer, and then yeah, I'll be back. Just a little tip: these oil filters, I tend to tear the plastic from the top, just so that I make sure nothing goes in there. Tearing it from the bottom, a little piece of plastic might break off, go in there. Chances of it happening is very rare, but I've got these habits where I pull it open from the top and then I take the whole piece off. And then also, you guys will see I've got my handy grease here. I know a lot of guys just use some of the old engine oil, or they just use some of the new oil just to coat this rubber o-ring. I tend to use a tiny bit of grease. Over the years I've learned with working on all my off-roads, the grease just works a little bit better. So what I'll do is I won't open this completely now. I'm just waiting for everything to drain nicely. It's almost drained, and then we'll be back. So now I'm just going to proceed to remove this oil filter completely. I tend to not leave this area open long enough. I don't ever want any dirt and stuff getting in there. So yeah, that old filter one side. I'll use some paper towels here, or toilet roll, whatever you have, and just clean this mating surface here. Always make sure that the old ring, the old O-ring is off they can tend to get stuck on here, and if you stick your new filter on, you're going to have a blown motor. It's going to leak oil there like hectic. The manual also does warn you about that. They do mention that O-ring can get, or rubber ring can get stuck there. So yeah, all I do is I give it a good cleaning. Okay, so now we'll proceed. Just want to move these paper towels away. With opening this air filter. Like I said, I don't like to leave that section open too long. Pulling the plastic off like that, and then this little ring here, I like to give it a little bit of grease and just take it right around. Like I say, a lot of guys use oil. You can use new oil, old oil. I just prefer to use a bit of grease. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put this all back. I'd like to just check inside, check everything's cool, filter looks good. And then make sure my hands are clean when I'm screwing this back on. And like I say, here is where a lot of people make a mistake of using some sort of tool or fastening it. I like just to tighten it by hand until it stops. Elbow touch was, you can see it actually like half and half stop there. I'm just going to give it some, you can hear my hand sliding. That's enough. Okay, let's proceed. The drain bolt plug, I cleaned it up nicely. I like to always clean things, clean the threads, clean everywhere. Make sure everything's nice and clean. And let me just quickly run through the threads. Everything looks very nice. Okay, and what I like to do here is where I do apply a little bit of oil to the threads. I'll take my new bottle of oil. Just do that. And apply a very light coat of oil to these threads. It's just something I've done over the years. I know some guys say it might affect your talking things, it might affect the values, but on this drain bolt I don't over tighten it. I don't go up to, I think the manual requires, I'd have to check and make a correction, but I think it's like 30 newtons or something like that. I tend to not do that. I make it snug. I feel a lot of these manuals, I've had it over the years with off-roads, the manuals, it's copy and paste, and if you look at the old materials that we used, it was steel, where now everything these days is all aluminum, if you want to call it that. Here we wish they would call it aluminum. And so yeah, I just like to coat the threads like that. A little drain plug washer, new one. Also OEM, but I think with the high flow or any filter you buy, any drain plug washer will work. I'm going to put this washer with the flat side. It's got like a sharp little edge here and a rounded side there. I'll put the flat side facing the engine, and then I put the bolt through. or I'll put this on the bolt already. I'm going to clean this section here. Look, you can wait for this oil to completely stop, but it'll take a long amount of time for you to completely drain. It'll drip for probably overnight, so I tend to just move the process along. I mean, you're never really going to get all the oil out unless you strip the whole everything. I'm just going to put this bolt back. Manual, I'll double check, I'll put it on the screen. I think it calls for 30 Newton meters of torque. I just don't torque bolts like that. Like I say, manuals were designed when things were so steel. I've learned my lesson on off-roads with axle nuts needing to be 130 Newton meters of torque, and then you're just basically stripping that bolt completely, or stripping the nut. So yeah, all I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten this bolt to where I can feel it's snug. We've got the filter on, we've got the drain plug washer and bolt in, so we're gonna start filling the bike with oil. And what I tend to do is, you can fill it up slowly and check your dipstick, but what I tend to do is, I know with the filter, new filter, and the bike being empty, it takes 2.7 liters. That's what the manual also says. I don't pre-fill the oil filter with any oil. I put it in just dry like that, and yeah, I'm just going to add, we're going to be putting in 2.7 liters, and then it should be good. Should be at the right level. You will notice with the CBRs that if the bike is cold standing overnight and you do remove your dipstick, it's going to be about 25% over full. But if you do read your manual, you'll see the manual says you need to heat up the bike for 3 to 5 minutes, then leave the bike for 3 to 5 minutes, and then check your level. And then as long as you're between the marks, your high and your low, I normally tend to be on the upper part of the high, just under the mark, then it's all good. Let's get to doing it. I like to give my oil a little bit of a shake. Yeah, the model 7100 10W40. We do stay in a country where the temperatures are always between 25 and 35, so I tend to use 40 instead of 30. As 30, just after like 1,500 miles, your 30 is like 25, so so that's just me. you guys can check is this O-ring on your filler cap. Check that it's intact, nice, clean it. Mine still looks good. Yeah, I've added 2.7 liters. Like I say, a lot of guys tend to measure. I've done this a couple of times. I know Honda's right in the manual when they say 2.7 liters when you collapse the filter. It always works out right. You'll see once you take the bike for a ride, let it heat up properly, let it cool down, do the check procedure that Honda recommends. The oils are always in the upper, just shy of the full mark, sometimes a little bit over. It depends if you overfilled it a tiny bit, but it's only spot on 2.7 liters. Now we're going to check the level of the bike level. You'll see it's going to be over full by quite a large margin. Let me just wipe this off quickly, just give me a sec. Now you can see it's kind of over full, but I'm happy with that. I know once I start the engine, oil filter's going to take some oil, and then we'll do a check again. Hi guys, now we're going to give it a start. I'm going to tilt it up again the way I like it, and we're going to see. I do that just to build some, to get some oil in the filter without starting it. If you're just quick, it won't start, and then from here we should be good to go. We are going to be checking if there's any leaks anywhere. You guys can see I brought it up to operating temperature, 91 degrees. I have had the bike flashed, so the fans will come on at about 91 when it's on. So yeah, and then we're going to give it 5 minutes and we're going to check the oil level again. What I like to do after I've run it up to operating temperature, check for any leaks. As you can see, we've got no leaks there. That's why I like to run it till the fans come on, because you know it's really hot. There's no leaks whatsoever. There's no leaks on the filter, so we seem good, because you don't want leaks. These leaks land up on the back tire, and that's not good. That's a loss of traction. So yeah, we got no leaks. We're just gonna give it a few more minutes and check the level again. Let's check that oil level again. Bike straight up. Let's check it here. I'm just gonna quickly get a clean starting point here. If you look there, I don't know if you guys can actually see the mark, but it's between the low, it's actually in the middle. I could add a bit more, but I'm going to take the bike for a couple of rides before I do that. But now you can see how much the oil levels dropped from being over full earlier. Okay, we're back. Now we're gonna put the belly fairing back. I did give it a little bit of a wash. Let's get in here and see how to get this oaky back. There we go. So this side is going to be the same. We're going to have to try and align this stuff up. I tend to do this front piece first. I just want to see how. Okay, looks like it's all going in. And then you can just do a nice go around, go over everything again, just make sure everything's tight and snug. But that's an oil chain and filter change on CBR1000RR. I'm sure it'll be from 2017 all the way up to 2025.